Hey, Amin, thanks for your upload, man. I do think that there's some improvements in your movement, but the big thing that Yachts mentioned to you in your last upload is the knee transition. And given that that hasn't really changed much, I wanted to address that first, then we'll talk about the footwork that you've noticed. So the knee transition is just letting your knees go forward the moment the bar passes them. And right now what's happening is in your pull, the knees don't go forward until the bar is like halfway up your thigh. And what this does is it produces a much more of a bang type movement and also changes the tempo. If you push the knee transition early, like we're trying to teach, there's not as much of a deceleration later on. The later the knee transition happens, the closer the deceleration happens to your extension, which isn't good. We want to extend from a steady tempo and not from a deceleration and then having to re-accelerate again. So here's what it looks like. Right now, you have your snatch and the bar gets to here, to your knee, and then you keep pulling your knees back and then they go forward. What we want to do is have the bar get to here and then just have it immediately go forward. So here, like that, as opposed to here and then forward. Think about drilling this. If you just have a pipe, set it below your knee and just practice pulling the bar up this way, right? Letting your knees come up forward, and you'll find that naturally it pulls your chest open, lets your knees come forward, and then there's not a sudden slowdown of the bar as it approaches your hip. So that's number one. Practice that. You can even upload a video if you're practicing that. We can give you some feedback. But just letting the bar slide up and down the knee, through the lower thigh, all the way up the upper thigh. So it never leaves your leg. It always moves with your leg. Number two is that footwork. So I think what you're trying to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, is you had not a lot of foot movement before, going from extension to catch. Now there's more of a slide, and it doesn't feel good to be this wide. Totally understand. One fix is start narrower, and then when you go a little bit wider, now you're in your old stance. So just start closer, and then a little bit of change going out will feel natural. Or what you could do is just not slide out so much. You know, right now you're making a big jump out, just a little bit. You know, a little spacing. Will be okay. But the fact that there's some footwork now and maybe there wasn't before is actually a good sign. It means your extension is probably becoming more powerful, such that you're actually leaving the ground a little bit, and that's fine. The last thing I wanted to mention is your rotation overhead. So right now, when you catch your jerk, right, if you look from the side, your arm is actually in front of you. Right? We want to be able to pull the arm this way. So if you pause your jerk from the side, you know, just look at your arm. It's right here. We want it to be here. And the way we do that is internally rotate. Right now you're externally rotating. You're like this, and that does not allow you to go back very much. If you internally rotate, you can push back quite a bit further. So think here, like if your thumb is this way, like that, and you'll feel much more range behind you. So you have to jerk like this here, as opposed to this way and then turning the other way. You're doing this. You want here, okay? That will help your sense of locking out in the jerk, and your timing will change, and you'll also be in a much more stable position overhead. So primary thing is the knee transition. Let me know if you have any questions there, especially feel free to upload some footage of you drilling, and we'll be able to address that. All right, thanks to me. Take care.